Over the course of the past week, discussing this Rolex Certified Pre-Owned program, the CPO, there's been a lot of questions coming in from you guys about the details. How's it all going to work? And so on. But one question keeps coming up time and time again. Where are Rolex getting these pieces from? Do they have a cache somewhere in Switzerland just tucked away? Are they serviced watches that were never claimed or lost and stolen? That seems unlikely to me, honestly. Or are they really going to buy them from us? Are Rolex really going to get into the used watch purchasing game? That could be hairy at best, guys. Ask any grey market dealer. It can be tough biz. It's not easy, and it takes a lot of experience to know what you're doing. I don't think regular Rolex staff have the horses for that kind of thing. Well, today, guys, I discovered some information about this, and a few other bits and pieces too. I hope you're sitting down.
Got an idea of what they're looking at. You want to know what they're looking at?
What?
I mean, is this guy something or is he something? This crew is good. You know what they're looking at?
What?
Us.
Yes, guys, another video about this topic. I'm so sorry, it's just far too interesting. I have to discuss it with you. If you're one of these people who can't stand Rolex and you want to write in the comments, who cares? Go to other brands. I mean, what are you doing here? Don't even click on the video. It's pretty obvious what I'm talking about in the video. It's like you hate it so much you can't look away, you know? You're like those folks that slow down in traffic to see the accident, you know, and then you're like, oh, it's so horrific. Why'd you slow down then? Guys, cast your memories back to 18 months ago. Do you remember the displays in ADs? You'd pass a Rolex AD and there'd be nothing in the window. All the display cases would be empty. Remember that? It was a very sad state of affairs. All the watches were being purchased. Even the not so desirable Rolex were getting snatched up straight away. And one morning we all woke up and all of those displays were full. You remember? About a year and a half ago, a little bit more. Not just of Cellinis and Ladies Date Just and so on, but the models we're really after. Subs and Sea Dwellers and Daytonas. The whole shebang. But there was one little catch. A little green sign that said, for exhibition only. These were watches that you could look at, you could take photos of, you could even go in and try them on. But if you wanted one, you'd have to get yourself on the list. But unlike many display-only products, these watches are actually real Rolex watches. They're not like, in the cell phone stores years ago, you used to have this plastic cutout that wasn't really the cell phone, but it was like a life-size imitation plastic version or something. These things were not that. They're actually real watches. Now, a lot of them have the movements locked, or I believe that's the intention of Rolex, is to keep them locked, so you won't actually see the seconds hand move. But that's not really a problem if you want to try on the watch. But no one ever asked the question, what happens to these watches? What's the fate of these for exhibition only watches? So, unless you've been living under a rock all week, you probably are well aware that Rolex have entered the secondary market. They have announced their certified pre-owned program where they're going to sell essentially refurbished used watches from their authorized dealers with a whole new bag of goodies, you know, the hang tag and a new pouch and a 2-year warranty. That's kind of crucial. One question keeps coming up over and over again in the comments. Where are they getting them? Do they have a big stash somewhere? Or are they going to purchase them from us? Are Rolex really going to get into the used watch purchasing game? It doesn't make sense for Rolex to start purchasing all our watches. For one, there'd be lines down the street because everybody will be like, oh, I'm going to sell it back to Rolex. It'll be dead simple. Secondly, it requires an enormous amount of experience to do that kind of thing properly. You know, grey market dealers think what you want of them, but these guys are kind of shapeshifters. You know, they're on one side they're very, you know, presentable salesmen, and on the other side they're kind of half technicians. They can pop open a watch and they can grab their loop, and you know, they know all the ins and outs. They've seen all the tricks that have been played when people trying to pass off fake watches and so on. It takes years of experience to become really proficient at that kind of thing. Rolex staff in their authorized dealers aren't like that. You know, maybe the top guy is, who's been there since the beginning. But normally the staff in an AD are just, you know, looking good in a suit, very presentable salespeople. They know about all the watches they have to sell and the jewelry. But if you test them on some old reference or something inside the watch or whatever, you might find out that you're not exactly dealing with a super Jedi expert. Now, I can't reveal my sources, guys, because they would never be my sources ever again if I did that. But I can tell you that they're pretty damn reliable and they've never failed me before. Rolex will be doing this program, of course, and they will be selling pre-owned watches, but their definition of pre-owned is a little different to ours, okay? Theirs is a lot stricter. They're going to be keeping it to watches from customers that have already been in that authorized dealer. Let's say you buy a watch today and you go back in a year, you're bored of it. They'll take it back because they know everything about the watch. It's already in their system. They know you. Some watches they will take because they'll be within a certain year bracket. I'm not sure how far back they'll go, if they'll go back to 2010, 2015, that, you know, are in beautiful condition and so on. And they'll be checking those watches very carefully, and that I'll come back to that later. But both of those entryways there are never going to fulfill the full program. There just won't be enough watches to keep it afloat. They're going to need a larger cachet of dependable, certified, reliable watches from which they can extract. But where are these watches? Are they in some hangar in Switzerland right now? About to be revealed to the world? Are they all in secret boxes in the back of every AD? Where are Rolex getting the watches from? Where?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. We thought we had. What the hell is going on?
I got an idea where the watches are. You want to know where they are? I mean, are these guys something or are these guys something? These guys are good. You want to know where the watches are? You've been looking at them all along. are selling you their own watches as pre-owned. The watches go back to Rolex, they get unlocked, they get checked for dings and scratches that may have happened with all the hundreds of people who've been trying them on the whole time, and then they get sent back to the authorized dealer for sale as a pre-owned, certified pre-owned watch. No shenanigans, no dealing with the general public, people bringing in Franken watches, people bringing in all sorts of weird stuff, could be stolen, maybe not, blah blah blah. None of that crap. They know exactly what they have because it's been sitting in their displays the whole time. But now they're not new anymore, are they? Now, I know already a lot of you guys are scratching your chins saying, hold on, it's got a 3-year buffer. They can't sell, or they won't sell, pre-owned unless it's 3 years old or more. Well guys, 3 years is around the corner. This for exhibition only thing kicked in about 18 months ago. We have another 18 months before they are 3 years old. 18 months goes like that with this stuff. For now, they can use Bucherer, who already have a large cachet of stuff, and various watches of Switzerland and so on, with trusted watches, and they can commence the program. By the time this program is in full flow, all the first watches that were on display 18 months ago are now 3 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the greatest masterminds in the watch world. They're entering the used market, right? They're taking a piece of those profits. Second of all, they're giving their ADs something to show in the window, so it doesn't look so bloody sad and pathetic. ADs now have full windows with watches you could only dream of getting your hands on. Third of all, they're guaranteeing that if they sell you a pre-owned watch, that they know exactly the history of that watch from the moment it left, because it went to the AD, sat in the window, and went back to them a year or two later for revision. And lastly, they don't have to really get their hands dirty by dealing with the used watch market. So the watches you're looking at, guys, in the window, the watches you're trying on in the store, they're the ones that will eventually be sold to you, but further down the line. But there's a number 3 here. Yes, Rolex will be purchasing certain watches from us. Only the top shit. And only stuff that they've seen come through their ADs. Very rarely will they take in a watch that they're not familiar with, the AD themselves. But in those cases, they're going to run the serial number. And that's the second piece of information I discovered today, guys. The Rolex Lost and Stolen register is being revived. Starting from now, guys, any place partaking in the CPO program will have direct access to the Lost and Stolen register. If you approach them or call them with a watch that you're interested in trading in to their store or selling to them directly, the first thing you will give is the serial number of the watch. They will run the serial. If there's something wrong, you will be politely declined. They won't tell you why. They won't tell you the details. That's not their business to tell you that stuff. But they'll see a red flag on the number and they'll say, no thanks, we're not interested in the watch. From that, you can conclude the watch has shown up on their Lost and Stolen register. What does that also mean? That means that if you're interested in buying a watch on the grey market, or if you're a grey market dealer and somebody comes into your store to sell you a watch, you can then contact your local AD and say, I am interested in selling you this watch. Are you interested? Here's the serial number. That's your way of checking to see if the watch is good or not. I can't believe these guys. It's amazing what they've just done. So, in one fell swoop, Rolex have tackled the issue of losing money in the secondary market, the issue of empty shelves in the authorized dealers, the counteracting of Rolex theft and the circulation of lost and stolen watches out in the grey, and the counterfeit world. Guys, Rolex are not to be fucked with. Boy oh boy, do they know what they're doing. Now, I can't take full credit for this whole thing. It actually started with a phone call from my friend Diego, who appears on the Tim Wright show. Tim Wright does the best reporting show on the internet in watches, guys. You gotta sub to his channel if you like. Watch discussion with a very, very smart panel. Check out the Tim Wright channel. If you're not subbed there already, get on it. He is the man, and his panel are amazing. Diego is one of them. He actually has this information for quite some time. He investigated this over a year ago, the fate of these display-only watches. It's all coming together now because of this new program that's been announced. I didn't want to move on this information until I had one extra source, which is my source here in Venice. So now that I have that, you are getting the info. I think it's pretty astounding stuff. It's funny how when you hear this information, you're like, of course, what the hell was I thinking? Did we think for 1 second that Rolex were going to get into that dirty, muddy world of used watches? It's such a messy, grey world. There's a good reason why it's called the grey market. A lot of the details get lost in the grey, don't they? Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.